For centuries, Mars was nothing more than a distant mystery, a faint red glow in the night sky, worshipped by ancient civilizations and studied by astronomers with endless fascination. But today, that distant planet has a deadline. And the man setting it isn't a politician, a scientist, or a general. He's a billionaire with an obsession. Elon Musk has declared that by the year 2030, humans will not only reach Mars, they will begin to colonize it. At first glance, it sounds like science fiction. But behind the headlines, behind the memes, and behind the chaos, there's a strategy unfolding. One more calculated, more daring, and more real than most people realize. What drives a man to risk everything to settle a frozen, airless wasteland millions of miles away? What fuels the rockets, the vision, the relentless pace of innovation? In a world distracted by likes and short-term wins, Musk is focused on a future that stretches across planets. And the clock is ticking. Because if he fails, humanity might miss its one shot to become a multi-planetary species. If he succeeds, history will remember this decade as the moment our destiny left Earth. This is the story of how one man plans to launch humanity into a new era, fueled by risk, vision, and the belief that Earth is only the beginning. Elon Musk didn't just wake up one day and decide to go to Mars. This obsession, this mission, was born in his childhood, nurtured not by cartoons or fairy tales, but by the piercing loneliness of being a misunderstood genius. Growing up in apartheid-era South Africa, bullied and isolated, young Elon found his escape in science fiction, physics, and dreams of distant worlds. But what was fantasy to most became a calling for him. By the time he moved to North America, he wasn't interested in joining the system, he wanted to rewrite it. Musk believes humanity's destiny lies beyond Earth, and he's been building toward that goal in cold silence for decades. The idea isn't just romantic, it's strategic. Earth is beautiful, but fragile. One asteroid, supervolcano, engineered pandemic, or nuclear conflict, and centuries of progress could vanish. Musk sees Mars not as an escape plan, but as an insurance policy for the human species. And the deadline he's placed on this plan is shocking. The year 2030. Not 2100. Not some vague, eventual future. He wants to see people walking on Martian soil within this decade. In 2025, that dream is not just alive, it's accelerating. SpaceX has now successfully conducted dozens of Starship launch tests, and for the first time in history, humanity has built a fully reusable spacecraft capable of reaching deep space. Unlike NASA's Artemis program, which still relies heavily on outdated technology and bureaucratic pacing, SpaceX has made failure its engine. Every explosion, every botched landing is treated not as a loss, but as fuel for iteration. And this mindset is winning. In the last 12 months alone, SpaceX has begun launching Starlink satellites using Starship, preparing it for real-world, scalable operations. In March 2025, the first full orbital flight test of Starship with both stages recovered was completed. A monumental breakthrough. That same year, Musk unveiled the Mars Architecture 3.0 plan, a detailed roadmap showing modular habitats, radiation shielding using Martian regolith, and solar-powered oxygen generation via the Sabatier process, all tested on Earth-like prototypes in SpaceX's developing Mars simulation base in Nevada. These are no longer ideas, they are prototypes, blueprints, and working technologies moving forward under one goal: to establish a self-sustaining civilization on Mars before Earth becomes too unstable to support such ambition. But technology is just one side of the equation. The real challenge is psychological, political, and social. Getting humans to Mars is hard. Keeping them there, alive, hopeful, and stable, is infinitely harder. Musk knows this. That's why he isn't just building rockets, he's building culture. Through companies like Neuralink and Tesla's AI division, he's pushing interfaces that might one day allow Martian settlers to remotely operate machines or adapt to high-risk environments. Through Twitter, now X, Musk has become a megaphone for anti-establishment ideas, often sparking controversy, but also drawing attention to freedom of speech, decentralization, and the power of independent governance. This matters because a Martian colony won't be governed by Earth's laws, it will need its own. And here's where it gets political. In 2025, whispers have begun to grow louder. With Musk's reach now extending from satellites in space to electric grids on Earth, many speculate that he may one day enter formal politics. While Musk himself denies interest in becoming a president or prime minister, insiders point to his increasing alignment with political movements, endorsements of key independent candidates, and behind-the-scenes influence in US and international space policy. Earlier this year, he reportedly met with delegates from the United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs, UNOSA, to discuss frameworks for Martian governance. If Musk were to formally enter politics or back a global coalition favoring rapid space expansion, he could fast-track the legislative support needed for interplanetary migration. His dual identity as a tech leader and cultural force makes him uniquely powerful. Because it's not just engineers and scientists who follow him anymore, it's policymakers, soldiers, teachers, Gen Z kids, even rival billionaires. The world is slowly realizing that the person most likely to lead us to Mars is not a nation-state, but a man. And that man isn't slowing down. In fact, he's betting everything. Musk has sold multiple homes, funneled billions into SpaceX, and warned employees that Mars colonization is not just a side project, it's the mission. Every engineer hired at SpaceX is told one thing: you are not working on a job, you are building history. And that's exactly how Musk sees it. When asked whether he's afraid of failure, he famously replied, "I'd rather die on Mars, just not on impact." It's a joke, but underneath it, there's a raw truth. Musk doesn't want to be remembered for Tesla or PayPal or even SpaceX. He wants to be remembered as the man who dared to push humanity off its home world, not to abandon it, but to grow beyond it. He's not looking back. And every day, 2030 gets closer. Reaching Mars is not the finish line. In many ways, it's just the beginning of humanity's most difficult challenge: learning how to survive in an environment that has never supported life. Elon Musk understands this better than anyone. "Rockets are the easy part," he once said. What keeps him awake at night is what happens after the landing. Mars has no breathable atmosphere, brutal dust storms, deadly radiation, and freezing temperatures that would kill a human in minutes without protection. But instead of waiting for the perfect solution, Musk is building a chain of progressively complex systems, each one designed to solve a part of the puzzle. And as of 2025, many of those systems are already being tested. Inside the Starship cargo holds are modular life support habitats, pressurized, insulated structures with built-in oxygen recycling, waste management, and hydroponic growth chambers. In collaboration with private biotech FRMs, SpaceX is experimenting with genetically modified crops that can grow under low-pressure, low-light conditions. These aren't just theories, they're part of the Mars Dune Alpha project, a 3D-printed Mars habitat simulation currently running near Austin, Texas. Real humans are living in isolation there, simulating long-term missions, tracking psychological responses, and stress-testing everything from food supplies to communication delays. One of the most extraordinary developments in recent years is the design of the ISRU system, In Situ Resource Utilization. This means turning Martian materials into useful resources instead of shipping everything from Earth. And that's where the Sabatier process comes in. Using carbon dioxide from the Martian atmosphere and hydrogen brought from Earth or extracted from ice, SpaceX can produce methane and oxygen, the very fuel that Starship runs on. In other words, the return trip is built into the mission. Starships will fly to Mars empty, build fuel on the surface, and use it to return. This single innovation changes everything. It slashes costs, reduces risk, and lays the groundwork for future supply chains. And it's not just fuel. Engineers are designing solar-powered oxygen extractors, compact nuclear reactors, and mobile water harvesters that can melt Martian ice trapped beneath the soil. Every tool is being designed with one goal in mind: self-sufficiency. The settlers won't just visit Mars, they'll build a home there. But even with food, oxygen, and power, Mars remains a psychological battleground. It's a place where every step outside requires a pressure suit, where the sky is always red and silent, where real-time communication with Earth lags by up to 22 minutes. SpaceX is taking this seriously. Recent contracts with the Department of Defense and NASA have focused on the neuroscience of long-duration isolation, helping develop virtual therapy environments, AI-driven companion bots, and even VR landscapes to simulate Earth-like scenes. Neuralink, Musk's controversial brain-computer interface company, is quietly testing technologies that might one day allow astronauts to control robotic systems on Mars with their thoughts, minimizing physical strain and maximizing safety. While these technologies are still years away from full deployment, the direction is clear. Every psychological, emotional, and environmental factor is being considered. Because for this mission to work, it's not enough to survive. People must want to stay. How do you train people to become Martians? Not with elite pilots like Apollo, but with everyday pioneers, engineers, medics, artists, mechanics, ready to live, not just land. SpaceX is already building a Mars training program, blending survival, engineering, and deep space psychology. Musk's goal is mass access, tickets under $100,000, colonization, not tourism. Critics call it madness. The risks are enormous. But Musk has defied the impossible before. Reusable rockets, electric cars, private spaceflight. Now he's betting on people. Because the rockets are ready. The infrastructure is growing. Now the settlers must be real too. And this is no longer just science, it's politics. Nations are racing to catch up. China is accelerating, Europe is negotiating, the US is adapting, and Musk? He's building a supply chain to another world, faster than governments can respond. Who governs Mars? Who owns it? These questions are no longer theoretical. Musk envisions a Mars free from Earth's laws, governed by settlers, not states. A bold experiment in direct democracy. It could be a fresh start or a costly failure. But it will happen, because behind the rockets lies a business. Starlink funds the mission, powering both internet and influence. And Mars, it might not just be a lifeboat, it could become a launchpad for industries Earth can't contain. Still, beneath all the strategy lies something ancient: the human need to explore. Our frontier is no longer oceans, it's stars. And Musk isn't selling comfort, he's selling legacy. He warns, you might die there, and yet thousands are preparing, quietly, steadily. Because for them, Earth is no longer enough. The mission has already begun, not in space, but in spirit. Every Starship launch, every setback, every breakthrough pulls the future closer. If we land on Mars by 2030, history will divide in two, before we left Earth and after. And even if Musk fails, he's already changed the course of civilization. He made us look up again, not out of fear, but out of hope.